Hello and welcome to the first SentUAMessage of 2011. How was your new year, Dan?
Oh, it was very pleasant, thank you, Andrew.
Was that it? Then you have some amusing story about the hilarious circumstances that arose and the unlikely situations you found yourself in?
No, I don't. I don't know if you heard, but after he non-canonically murdered us at the end of the Christmas episode, the head of Microsoft has now been put on gardening leave.
What's that mean?
Well, I don't know, but he's something to do with digging, I think. He's been out there all week. But anyway, what this means is that there's now a vacancy at the top of the corporation, a vacancy I intend to fill. We're providing a service for a major computer corporation, and there's no way I'm going to rise up the corporate ladder by messing about.
Well, I had quite the unusual break myself. You see, there were these werewolves, right?
Time is money. Question 1.
Styrofoam468 asks, do you have any info about an XBLA game called Spare Parts? It was mentioned in issue 114 of OXM. He then adds, PS, my gamertag is Styrofoam468.
You already mentioned his gamertag. Stop wasting our time. This is extremely detrimental to our productivity, which will directly affect our growth in the key demon graphics.
I think you mean demographics.
Ah, look, unlike you, I've been working, putting in the hours, giving 190%. I went straight to the top, so here's the game's producer to tell you more about Spare Parts.
So Spare Parts is about these two robots who find themselves stranded on a planet. They discover a spaceship that's still working, and the ship's computer tells them that if they find enough spare parts, they can repair the ship and escape the planet. Because on the planet is also the people who dropped them there with this evil race called the Crowfacts. Unfortunately, you have to smash. Yeah, so there's a lot of co-op mechanics in it, because we really wanted to make a game that two people could play together, like online or offline, and just have a really good fun time playing it. Like, I love playing games like this with my girlfriend, so it was a really good kind of, will she like this, we'll like this, and yeah, so we took that approach to pretty much everything in the game. So there's some mechanics in the game you can only do with 2 players, so yeah, we wanted to make it so when you played it single player, you really feel like you need another player there.
I'm a ruthless businessman. I'll step on anyone to get to the top. I sold all of my hair when I was 16, used some of the money to buy a fairly convincing wig, leaving me £7 better off. Meet XI Dragon Force IX. He's a 23-year-old male with a disposable income. He loves progressive house and the movies of Owen Wilson. He values personal grooming, quality time with his mates Gaz, Daz and Baz, and his weekly dose of Top Gear. He's likely to say things like, give me info on Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but you'd never catch him saying, this potpourri has a delightful bouquet.
Are you profiling our viewers?
Well, archetypes are a valuable resource in establishing the thought process and purchasing patterns of our target audiences. You may scoff, but they are grounded in truth, Andrew. But, well, he did want to know about Tekken Tag Tournament 2 anyway.
Well, very little firm info has been released since the game was first announced last September, but the important thing is that it's real and it's happening. The sequel looks set to reprise the non-canon nature of its decade-old predecessor to allow for characters who have died throughout Tekken's labyrinthine storyline to battle each other.
What may have passed you by is the second trailer released on Christmas Eve, which features my business role model Heihachi Mishima in his younger years, which is to say he looks like a 50-year-old with a healthy passion for just for men. At a guess, I'd say he favours the music of Chris Rea and has a secret crush on Helen Mirren. He buys quality products but won't stand to pay over the odds for anything.
Stop that. The new trailer also features a mysterious, currently unnamed female luchador wrestler who can team up with Armor King for some devastating co-op combo attacks. In fact, TTT2 seems to be loaded with character-specific team-up attacks, so a deep understanding of compatible fighting styles and fighter relationships may prove to be a key component in unleashing the most spectacular moves.
Oh, now who's speculating?
Shut up. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is currently scheduled for a summer 2011 release in Japan, with Europe and the US sure to follow soon after. In the meantime, keep up to date with the rather excitable musings of Tekken game director Katsuhiro Harada on Twitter by following @Harada_Tekken.
Right, next in my project manager's priority list is Yodaman447's inquiry about the villains of Batman Arkham City. Andy, I'm delegating this to you to show my ability to challenge and motivate my workforce.
Isn't that just being lazy?
Nope, delegation, key to the successful manager's toolset.
You're a toolset.
What was that?
Nothing. Anyway, Arkham City, as you're probably aware, is the sequel to the brilliant Batman Arkham Asylum coming this autumn. Information is still pretty scarce on much of the game's content, but the probable villain roster is already looking fairly full. As we've seen from the first trailer, both the Joker and Harley Quinn will be making a reappearance, although probably in a reduced role from that of Arkham Asylum, due to the fact that Joker is, dying slowly from bat punches. From the more recent trailer, it looks like the primary villain of Arkham City is going to be Hugo Strange, seen here doing his best Christopher Lee impression. Strange is actually one of the oldest recurring Batman villains, predating Catwoman and the Joker in the comics by several months. In Arkham City's storyline, he's been put in charge of overseeing the city prison by Quincy Sharp, former Warden of Arkham, now Mayor of Gotham. However, his most important weapon in his fight against the Dark Knight is the fact that he knows Batman's secret identity of Bruce Wayne.
Wait, Batman is Bruce Wayne? Well, that explains why Wayne Corp's stock price has been plummeting of late. He should spend more time overseeing corporate mergers and new business acquisitions and less time dressing up as a bat and dangling off gargoyles.
It would probably make for a less exciting comic, though.
Yeah, to you maybe. Hippie.
A few other characters have been announced by various indiscreet voice actors, including the return of the Riddler, as well as appearances by Mr. Freeze, Talia al Ghul, Two-Face, Catwoman, and Victor Zsasz, and the terrifying Calendar Man, who will use your 360 system clock to react to specific dates and times that you're playing, hopefully by wearing a Santa hat at Christmas and a sombrero on Cinco de Mayo.
The problem with people in business is that they stand still. I don't stand still. I run. Actually, I don't even run. I get in my business car and I drive down business roads until I reach the runway, and then I get into my business jet and fly at supersonic business speeds in the air. Business air. Well, great. Well delegated by me. You're welcome. Okay, next question is from Tuman4, who is asking if there's any upcoming digitally distributed lifespan expansion software for Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
What do you mean, DLC?
Oh, no thanks, I've just eaten.
Well, Tuman, the good news is that the criminally underrated Castlevania Lords of Shadow will be getting at least 2 pieces of digitally... what was it?
Distributed lifespan expansion software.
Yes, that. The first pack is called Reverie, which sees our hero Gabriel, I have done questionable things Belmont, returning to the castle to help out Laura, who was the servant to the vampire Carmilla, one of the titular Lords of Shadow. Despite being evil, Carmilla being alive was apparently keeping another evil in check, and now she's gone, the evil is running rampant, so it's up to Gabriel to literally whip it into shape. That's due on the marketplace in February.
The next batch is due in April and is called Resurrection. This DLC continues the story directly following the game's epilogue and promises a battle with a very notorious enemy. Of course, the real enemy for the successful businessman is complacency. That's why I always make sure I'm constantly challenging myself, pushing myself on.
Yeah. No word on pricing yet, so expect something sooner to release. A lot of people put the milk in first, but I tend to put it in after. I find it helps getting the right temperature of the coffee.
Now, I don't approve of Savage Punisher's gamertag. It's far too threatening and entirely at odds with the family-friendly direction I intend to take the company when I inevitably become its new leader. However, and at the risk of contradicting myself, the customer is always right, and so it's our duty to address his query about the whereabouts of a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 demo.
It's bad news, I'm afraid. Capcom's Vice President of Strategic Planning and Business Development, Christian Spencer...
Oh, now he sounds like the sort of proactive go-getter I should network with going forward.
Yeah, you do that. Christian confirmed recently there would be no Marvel vs. Capcom 3 demo, primarily because the effort required to produce one would have resulted in sacrifices having to be made to the finished article.
I'm guessing they had to push that bad boy out to the new fiscal year.
Exactly. He also stated that previous fighting games like Street Fighter 4 didn't have a demo either, and this didn't hamper sales nor player feedback. This, in conjunction with the fact the game has been available for hundreds of thousands of people to sample at dozens of events around the globe, meant the demo was never really a consideration.
Confidence in your product, I like it. I once sold the George of Asda shirt on eBay for £4, but I only listed it for £1. That's a 300% profit margin, and I didn't even let the guy try it on.
How much did that shirt cost you exactly originally?
Oh, nada. It was a present from my nan. Cha-ching.
Now, we've still got hundreds of viewers asking about the first add-on for Call of Duty Black Ops.
Add-on? Is that what the kids are calling digitally distributed lifespan expansion software, yeah? Yeah. Well, I've been focus testing a hip new abbreviation, DIDLES, or DIDDLES, and approval ratings for the 45 to 70 single female cat-owning demographic have been through the roof. It's bigger than Buble. Incredible. Well, first up, we know that there are lots of you out there for whom this will be old news, but the sheer volume of requests we're still receiving mean there's plenty of you who are still none the wiser. So save the spam, okay? Yes, save all of your tin goods. It's going to be a tough year. Now, Call to Duty Dark Operations was a big revenue spinner in the last quarter, so I've been keeping a close eye on other opportunities to squeeze creamy money milk from the swollen udder of this lucrative cash cow. Enough with the torturous metaphors. Yes, there's going to be an add-on. It's called First Strike and will release exclusively on Xbox 360 on the 1st of February.
So far, all we know is that the pack adds 4 multiplayer maps. Discovery, which takes place in the Antarctic Research Station from the campaign mode, Kowloon, based on the rooftops of the Chinese city, Berlin Wall, set around the infamous Checkpoint Charlie, and perhaps the most interesting of the lot, Stadium, where you'll battle around an ice hockey stadium.
Now, according to leaked minutes from Activision's end-of-quarter financial review, there's also a new zombie map called Ascension. But that's probably not of any interest to you. Recent surveys suggest that Frankensteins are the public's undead monstrosity of choice in 2011.
First Strike will sell for 1,200 Microsoft points.
Well, I'm going to buy thousands to create the illusion of customer demand and then resell it to the punters at a hugely inflated price.
But it's digital content.
Exactly. Customers want the future today, and the future is diddles.
Ellipses fan Matthias G wants to know when Square Enix's cybernetic enhancement funathon Deus Ex 3 is due out on Xbox 360. Well, I'm afraid there's bad news on this front, Matthias, as Square announced in some recently released financial results that it has delayed Deus Ex Human Revolution, which was originally supposed to be releasing in early 2011, into fiscal year 2012, which means any time after the 1st of April this year.
Now, Square's pinned the blame on weak sales performance of console game titles that were released during the current fiscal year, as well as harsh market feedback regarding a key title. It's therefore decided to spend additional time to further polish their upcoming game, Deus Ex Human Revolution, resulting in a shift in release timing from their prior plan of the current fiscal year to next fiscal year.
Will you stop with the ridiculous corporate doublespeak?
That wasn't me, that was straight from Square's website.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Hang on, can I get this? Yeah. Yeah, I had heard that the head of Microsoft was vacant. Hired someone else? Who? Microsoft? He's completely wrong for Microsoft. No, I'm not standing for this.
Well, that's it for this week's show. If you want to send us a question for us to answer, you can send it to the gamertag SentUAMessage, to the email address sentuamessage@hotmail.com. You can at us on Twitter @SentUAMessage, or write on our Facebook wall at facebook.com/SentUAMessage.
Oh, that feels so much better. Don't you feel better?
Not particularly, no.
I feel better.